Gear up, level up. Tired of the same old gun shop experience? Red Team Armory is not just selling firearms. We're providing a VIP experience. Rifles, handguns, shotguns, top-tier optics, unbeatable ammo prices. We've got you covered. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're dedicated to helping you find the perfect setup. Fast shipping and expert advice. Visit us online at todd.redteamarmory.com. Red Team Armory, your mission, our gear.
At FurnitureMadeInUSA.com, we provide beautiful chairs, rockers, stools, and tables handcrafted by skilled American artisans in North Carolina since 1924. With every purchase, you're supporting American businesses, American workers, and their families. Don't just buy furniture. Invest in a piece of American history. Shop now at FurnitureMadeInUSA.com.
Attention, you're listening to the Todd Huff Radio Show, America's home for conservative, not bitter talk radio. Be advised that the content of this program has been documented to prevent and even cure liberalism, and listening may cause you to lean to the right. Here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Oh, there we go. That is right, my friends. You've tuned in here to America's home for conservative and not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. We've been talking a lot about this Cory Booker. Again, it wasn't a filibuster, but for the lack of a better term, just his filibuster, a super long speech in the Senate. I want to wrap up talking about that. Spent a lot of time talking about it because I think that it demonstrates the differences between what it means today to be on the political left, what it means to be a conservative, and candidly, my friends, I believe that one side, and I shouldn't say one side, there are people on both sides that are captivated by the theatrics of all this, but one side, we have a group, the Republicans, with Trump's administration on the border, what's happening with Doge, what's happening with the things that Doge is uncovering, which I've got that in the stack of stuff. And the other side that just wants people to do some political gesturing, some political theater. And that's what we witnessed from Cory Booker. So I don't want to talk too much more about this, but I think it's important to understand that Trump is doing things. Democrats want to have the appearance of doing things. And I got to tell you, it is perfect for me. As I'm looking here, I've got a screenshot. It's actually paused on a clip I'm going to play for you. Cory Booker was asked, Spartacus was asked about the strategies he used, my friends, to complete this marathon speech. I mean, this is like a post-game conference in the NFL or the NBA. How did you guys regroup? How did you prepare for this? How did you step up in the moment that you were most needed, Cory? What was the training regimen that went into this? And it is perfect to me that it says Washington, D.C., April 1st, because it seems like 100% an April Fool's Day joke, at least to those of us who have both feet firmly planted in reality. So that's the direction where we're going to go. I've got some stuff on Elon Musk and Doge and so forth as well. I've also got something I want to share with you briefly, just something that happened on Facebook that I'll get into briefly. Social media reflects this mentality, this difference between people who want to see actual results and people who are just in the business of, I don't know, the name calling or the gesturing or the posturing and all of the stuff besides actually fixing the problem or addressing the problem as a mature adult. And I've just got a little anecdote, a story that I want to share with you that happened on our Facebook page, which if you've not followed us, I guess is the word, on Facebook, let me invite you, my friends, to do that. It's Todd Huff Show on Facebook, my friends. All right. So before we get rocking and rolling too far down this path, here's a question for you. Do you know where your money goes after you spend it? If that answer makes you cringe a little bit, my friends, it's time to check out Freedom Marketplace. We built this platform to connect conservatives like you with businesses that share your values, businesses that refuse to support leftist candidates, leftist causes. They would not have been supporting the leftist in the Wisconsin Supreme Court who just won yesterday. They don't do that sort of thing. And Freedom Marketplace is free for you as the user to use. It's all about keeping your dollars aligned with your principles. All you've got to do is go to freedommarketplace.net. That's freedommarketplace.net, liberty and business for all. And by the way, if you want to list your business, you can find out more information by going to toddhuffshow.com/freedom. If you want to check that out and consider listing your business as well, support that platform, support this program, push the conservative message forward, my friends. I welcome you to do that. All right, so here we go, my friends. We've got a madman, Cory Booker. If you could see this screenshot I'm looking at, this is perfect. He's got big old bug eyes, and in the top left-hand corner, it says Washington, D.C., April 1st, which is perfect. It is set up. This is Saturday Night Live's dream, an April Fool's Day joke by something that should have been taken as a joke. Booker, I went through this last segment. It wasn't a filibuster. He wasn't trying to stop a bill from advancing. He did beat Strom Thurmond's record. Strom Thurmond's record was 24 hours and 18 minutes. I don't know what Booker actually went to, 25 hours and some change. He broke Democrat Strom Thurmond's record when Democrat Strom Thurmond was actually filibustering on the floor of the U.S. Senate to keep the Civil Rights Bill in 1957 from advancing when he was a Democrat in 1957. Don't forget that important point, my friends. Anyway, so Cory Booker here is being asked in kind of a post-game interview sort of setup here, how he basically was able to do it. What about the hard work? What about the years of practice, Cory Booker? I think Cory Booker, didn't he play college football? I feel like Cory Booker, I think I saw this, played, I think, at Stanford. I don't know if he played, and I don't mean that as an insult. I don't know if he saw the field much or if he was, someone on, it doesn't really matter. That's an accomplishment to play Division I football at a school like Stanford. So this is like they were asking him about his training regimen. How did you prepare to be a football player at Stanford? Instead, they're asking him, how did you prepare to give a 25-hour speech on the Senate floor? They act like this is the single greatest accomplishment in modern history. And I want you to listen. This is to be taken seriously. And again, all this, remember, in the top left-hand corner of the screen, if you could see it, it literally says this is April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day, and you're listening to this sort of interview on your television. Saturday Night Live, if they were really doing their job, would have a field day with this. Here it is.
Talked to a lot of people. I copied some of the things we did for 15 hours, so I fasted for days into it. I stopped drinking water a long time ago. I think that had good and bad benefits. I definitely started cramping up from lack of water. So if some of you saw me really drink nothing, at the end I was just trying to do something to stop my muscles from cramping. So there's just a lot of tactics I was using to try to make sure that I could stand for that long. The mission was really to elevate the voices of Americans, to tell some of their really painful stories, very emotional stories, and to let go and let God do the rest.
Let go and let God do the rest. By the way, that's an interesting thing for a Democrat to say, to let go and I'm talking about an elected Democrat. I'm not talking rank and file Democrats. I'm talking about Washington, D.C. Democrats who at the core of their radical leftist worldview is diametrically opposed to biblical Christianity. The leftist worldview is diametrically opposed at its core to biblical Christianity. So to say let go and let God, it's just interesting to me to hear Cory Booker say that, because the agenda that you're pushing as an instrument of the radical left is not in any way, shape, manner, or form connected to biblical Christianity. I don't know what he means by let go and let God. I don't mean to be, it's not my place to know, unless I guess he wants to share that, and maybe he has. I just don't know. I just find it interesting that he would say that when the left is usually so vitriolic if you bring up God. If you say that you prayed before a meeting, if you prayed as president of the United States, they want to make those actions that you took after the prayer, they want to outlaw them because they say that that was an inappropriate violation of the separation of church and state. And so there are radicals who think like that, my friends. I've dealt with them. I've been in their classrooms, and I'm familiar with some of their works. So that just is a peculiar and curious thing for him to say. But to talk like that, it's crazy to me. He talked about his diet before going up there. He talked about how he was fasting, how he didn't drink water. That was both good and bad. Didn't drink water, got some muscle cramps up there. It sounds like a post-game interview with I'm a Pacers fan, the Indiana Pacers. Hey, Pascal Siakam, I noticed there in the fourth quarter you were having trouble. What was wrong? Well, I was cramping up. I didn't get hydrated enough. We're on a second night of a back-to-back or whatever, right? I'm out there. My muscles are fatigued. We're at the end of the season. I haven't stayed hydrated. I'm getting older. I'm not 21 years old anymore. I was out there cramping up. It sounds like that sort of interview from a U.S. senator. What the world is going on here, my friends? This is not to be taken seriously, at least by serious-minded people. So, again, I don't want to say much more about this. If you want to hear my full thoughts on this, you can check out the first hour of the program, which you can always get on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or on our website at toddhuffshow.com. You can also check out our Rumble channel. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe and follow us there as well. But this is this is sophistry. This is for political show. This accomplished nothing. This advanced no idea. If you encounter someone today who wants to talk about this or act like this is some great accomplishment, first you got to ask them the question that I posed last hour. Ask them what they can tell you about the individual, Strom Thurmond, who Cory Booker, he surpassed his record, Strom Thurmond's, for the longest speech on the floor of the U.S. Senate. Now, Strom Thurmond's was an actual filibuster. Cory Booker's was just a political stunt. But nonetheless, ask them about that. Ask them what they can tell you about the 1957 filibuster by Strom Thurmond. It was regarding civil rights legislation that Strom Thurmond opposed. Ask them to tell you which political party Strom Thurmond was part of. They're going to tell you Republican. He later, in 1964, a full 7 years after this filibuster, he became a Republican when he started working on Barry Goldwater's campaign, but he was a Democrat through and through in 1957, opposing the Civil Rights Act. Ask them if they know that. But, of course, they're going to tell you, well, the parties flipped, right? Back in 1950, there was a switch. There was all the Democrats who were racist became Republicans. All the Republicans who were not racist became Democrats. It was the great switcheroo. That's how they try to answer this sort of nonsense. But anyway, ask them if they know that. The other thing to ask them is to say, what did Booker's speech, don't ask them accomplish, because they're going to tell you it was motivating, it was inspirational. They're going to give you some intangible things like that. That's fine. Maybe it did inspire them. I don't know how, but just ask them. Ask them what was the message of Booker's speech. After he gave this marathon speech, after he gave this life-altering, earth-shattering speech, and it changed the trajectory of life here in the United States as we know it, what's the next step? What are we trying to accomplish? What did Cory Booker leave us with? What is the next thing that his speech has inspired you to do? Ask them that. I think you'll hear crickets. I think you'll hear silence, or you'll hear something very, very general and ambiguous. It won't be specific. It will be something that doesn't make any real sense, and certainly does not. It wouldn't be the same between different people, because that's not what this is. This was a political stunt. They are taking it on the chin in Washington, D.C. They are taking it on the chin around the country. Now, there are things that are happening that Republicans need to be aware of, including this election for Supreme Court justice in Wisconsin, which went to the leftist. But that same election had Wisconsin voters supporting a voter ID requirement, which is fantastic for Wisconsin. It's fantastic for anybody. because it's an obvious thing that needs to be done. Anyway, so there's not some moment where, there was some clarity given to the Democrat Party, a clear course of action, people rallying behind a message. It was 25 hours of random thoughts and grievances from Cory Booker, who we know more about his diet and his water drinking regimen leading up to his speech than we know about the content of his speech. It was all about trying to get some sort of energy, trying to show the base that they are, in fact, Democrats in Washington, D.C., are trying to do something, right? The left is super symbolic. They are hyper-focused on the symbolic acts. And so to the core radical left, these are the people, remember, who will, they wear ribbons for everything. They have all these days and months that honor certain groups of people. They care if you use the pronouns that they want you to use when referencing them, all that sort of stuff. This is what matters to them. Language, especially the ambiguity of language. If they can make language mean next to nothing, they're happy to do that. And so they're interested in the symbolic. They're not interested, now they're interested in watching this country push further to the left. But to get their energy, you just have to make it look like you're doing something. That's why they have a higher propensity to care what celebrities think, these celebrity endorsements and so forth. They're the ones that are more subjected to these arguments that say liberals are more educated, therefore the smarter you are, the more likely you are to be liberal, thinking education and intelligence are the same thing. On and on this goes. So anyway, that being said, I want to move on from this. I want to move on to something else here as we have plenty of things in the stack of stuff to get to. So kind of serving as a segue here, I want to take a little bit of a breather, and I want to talk to those of you who love seafood. Kenai Fish is your new go-to for wild-caught Alaskan seafood. This is not your grocery store freezer aisle kind of stuff. We're talking about salmon from the legendary, not to be confused with the legend of Cory Booker, but actual legendary Kenai and Castleoff rivers, sockeye, coho, king salmon. All of this comes in vacuum-sealed packages. It is delivered to you via next-day air for unbeatable freshness. And if you are a fan of halibut, you're also in for a treat here. It's mild, sweet, and it's perfect for grilling, baking, or even air frying. Don't forget their shellfish as well. They've got king crab, snow crab, scallops, and a whole lot more. Kenai Fish is family-owned, and they are as passionate about quality as you are, which I know you are as a listener of this program. So go to KenaiFish.com, Kenai, KenaiFish.com. Promo code Todd will save you 15% off your order. That's KenaiFish.com, KenaiFish.com. Promo code Todd. Friends, this seafood will certainly have you hooked. All right, so now let us shift gears. I mentioned, I don't know if I can get this in the time I have remaining here, but in thinking about the people that find Cory Booker's 25-hour speech on the Senate floor where he just aired his grievances, this was like, you ever seen the episode of Seinfeld, Festivus? Festivus for the rest of us. One of my good friend's favorite, I think it's his favorite Seinfeld. I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. Festivus for the rest of us. George Costanza, one of the main characters of the program, he has his father. His father is Frank Costanza. This is Frank Costanza. So, reminds me of a line. He's moving in lock, stock, and barrel to Del Boca Vista, Florida, to visit Seinfeld's parents. Anyway, so, but George Costanza's father, Frank, invented a holiday called Festivus. And it had some weird things. Instead of a tree, it happened during Christmas time. I don't remember exactly. In fact, you'll find social media posts in the Christmas season that'll say Happy Festivus. So George Costanza developed this holiday. It's got a metal pole instead of a tree. And there's this thing called the Feats of Strength. the Feats of Strength, where someone will wrestle the head of the house, I guess. George used to have to wrestle his father during the Feats of Strength for Festivus. I mean, this is Seinfeld. It's just crazy stuff. But there was also a part of the holiday where they would air their grievances. And I think that what this speech was, that Cory Booker gave, was actually very similar to Seinfeld's, George Costanza's, holiday of Festivus. It's the part of that holiday where they aired their grievances. So that's what Cory Booker did, what Spartacus did, aired his grievances. And I find myself wondering, who does this sort of thing appeal to? Why is this motivating? I mean, if I'm on the side that's not in power, I want to see actual steps go towards advancing our positions. I want to see tangible evidence that we have the right platform, the right ideas, and that we're promoting them, communicating them in the best ways possible. That's what I want to see. I want to see step-by-step progress towards that. So, but the reality is, for the left, many of these folks don't want to. It's all about the rhetoric. It's all about the positioning. It's all about the narrative. And so it's all words. It's all hat and no cattle, as they like to say in parts of Texas. For the rancher who wants to look like he's got a big ranch, but he's got no cattle, it's all hat and no cattle. So it's with that in mind that yesterday I posted, every day we post things on social media. Clips of this program go out on TikTok. By the way, TikTok is supposed to be potentially, taken down again here on April 5th. A couple of days if something isn't extended by Trump. We got to see where that's only a couple days away. But we have TikTok, we've got YouTube, we use Facebook and X. We put the whole show on Rumble. And so we posted this to Facebook, and there was someone who jumped on there and made some comments named JC. I'm just going to use her first name. Now, before I get to this, and this is going to bleed into the next hour because I just don't have enough time. But if you remember yesterday, if you watched the program, you definitely would have noticed I had red eyes. If you watched the clips of the program, you would see I had red eyes as well. I have seasonal allergies. I told you this on the program. I say I have a face for radio. I apologize for the eyes. I get itchy, watery, red eyes. I've had this my entire life. In fact, when I was a young kid, I think I shared this on here before. When I was 7, 8, 9 years old, 10 years old, when we would go to the baseball diamonds, I played baseball as a little kid, stuck with football and basketball and track in high school, but baseball as a young kid, that was my first sport. I think I was allergic to the honeysuckle. There were some baseball diamonds and there was a little, like a drainage ditch, and it would grow, weeds and other things like that. And honeysuckle would be blossoming in the springtime or summertime or whenever it starts to blossom, and my eyes would swell shut. I mean, I remember as a little kid quite literally sitting in my grandma's house with a wet wash rag over my eyes. They were swollen shut. I couldn't open them. I couldn't see. The sort of thing that would probably scare the heck out of me today. But back then, I don't know, it didn't bother me. I knew that it would eventually take care of itself, and thankfully it did. So I've had these problems for a long time. But apparently they bothered JC. And I just want to share a little dialogue that I had with JC, because I think JC's the kind of person, I know she is, who's persuaded and motivated by the sophistry and the political performance and the political theater engaged in by one Cory Spartacus Booker. So timeout's in order. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break, my friends. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, the one and only Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Gear up, level up. Tired of the same old gun shop experience? Red Team Armory is not just selling firearms. We're providing a VIP experience. Rifles, handguns, shotguns, top-tier optics, unbeatable ammo prices. We've got you covered. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're dedicated to helping you find the perfect setup. Fast shipping and expert advice. Visit us online at todd.redteamarmory.com. Red Team Armory, your mission, our gear.
Tired of store-bought produce? Ever dreamed of growing your own healthy food but worried about space? Exo Hydroponics is a perfect solution. Exo Hydroponics is a family-owned business run by a mother and daughter team. Their innovative Exo Tower lets you grow up to 28 plants indoors or out, using less than 2 square feet. Visit exotowers.com today and start your journey to growing fresh organic food at home. That's exotowers.com.
At FurnitureMadeInUSA.com, we provide beautiful chairs, rockers, stools, and tables handcrafted by skilled American artisans in North Carolina since 1924. With every purchase, you're supporting American businesses, American workers, and their families. Don't just buy furniture, invest in a piece of American history. Shop now at FurnitureMadeInUSA.com.
Welcome back, my friends. So, just been sharing this little story because it relates to kind of what we've been talking about here. I posted a Todd Talk yesterday on social media talking about, well, you know what? I guess I can do this. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I guess I can do this. This is a Todd Talk. It's 52 seconds. It is something that we post on on social media, on our website, and other radio stations. Certain radio stations carry it. So I'm going to go ahead and play this so I can tell you what she said to this, which is fine. Listen, you can post whatever you want there, but just if you're going to act like JC, if I've got the time and notice it and have the inclination, I might respond in a certain way. We're always conservative, not bitter, but that doesn't mean we can't get straight to the heart of the matter. So that being said, here's yesterday's Todd Talk. This had JC in a tizzy yesterday. Listen for yourself and decide if she should have been in a tizzy.
My friends, Senator Cory Booker thinks he's an American hero, or at least he wants you to think so. Last night, he took to the Senate floor, vowing to speak, quote, as long as I am able, end quote, to protest Trump. Sounds dramatic, doesn't it? This isn't Booker's first act of political theater. In 2018, he gave us his infamous Spartacus moment during Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination.
Oh, yes, Spartacus.
This, my friends, is all the Democrats have. They claim they've got great ideas, but poor messaging. The truth is, they have atrocious ideas propped up by empty theatrics.
Couldn't agree more.
Americans have had enough of the endless, phony accusations, racism, sexism, homophobia, fascism, oligarchy, all of it. So grab your popcorn. This promises to be as entertaining as any Part 6 sequel, but with worse acting.
Definitely with worse acting. JC didn't like that, by the way. Who is that guy? That is stuff worth listening to, my friends. You guys are lucky to be able to. I'm kidding. I'm playing. But anyway, so that's the Todd Talk from yesterday. That's what posts on radio stations, and we post on the website and social media. And then, of course, we get comments or whatever from people. And I got this comment from JC. Her first comment, which I get a lot of these. I just ignore this. I don't care. She can have this opinion. She says, I'm full of doo-doo. D-O-O-D-O-O. To which I didn't really thought, okay, I don't even think about those sorts of comments. But then she says this, I'm questioning. Remember, I told you my eyes were red, and you can see it in the video, which you can't see on radio. I get that. I'm questioning why your eyes are red. How long do you sit on the internet viewing crap all day? That was her comment to me. Now, it's not egregiously out of line, but what does that have to do with anything? See, listen, I'm a guy who, first and foremost, maybe it would surprise you, maybe it doesn't, but at the core of I guess who I am is I'm a peacemaker. Now, I don't want to be a peacemaker at the cost of compromising principles, but I am someone who seeks to find peace. I don't care if you disagree with me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't make me feel like I'm stupid and inferior or some such thing. Sometimes you might teach me some things. It doesn't bother me that I'm wrong. What bothers me is a society full of people who engage. Take all of the emotions out of this. What did my eyes being red have to do with anything? That was an insult. She was trying to insult my physical appearance, which, if I'm being honest, there's probably a lot that she could insult, my friends, and that's fine. But on top of that, she came onto social media. Now, I like connecting with folks on there. If you're on there, I like people. Whatever medium that we get to connect on, that's fine. Personally, I don't care about Facebook. I'm not on there a lot. I'm on our page and I'll respond to you. I like that connection with you, but I don't look at a bunch of stuff on Facebook. I don't. So I don't know. I didn't even know this was a thing. I started to respond to her comments, but there wasn't a way to do that. I could either hide the comment, which I don't, unless it's just like super, I don't think I've ever done that. But it would have to be really egregious or vulgar or something like that for me to do. But honestly, most times I just post it, just free speech. Let it sit there. But there's no way I can reply. The only buttons, normally when someone leaves a message, I can like it, I can reply to it, I can send them a message. Under these comments, and I've noticed this now a couple of times from people who wanted to say bad things about me or my show, I think that they turn it off to where I can't respond, which is the equivalent of keying a Tesla thinking no one's watching, which we've seen a lot of. So, but why must she bring up physical appearance? I mean, does she think that strengthens her argument? Does she think that she's going to get under my skin? Does she think, I genuinely don't understand this. What is her intention? Is she that angry inside to where the only happiness she has comes from trying to tear down a fellow human being? And then what does that say about you personally? I have so many questions about this. So this was my response to her, even though I don't think it went to her because it doesn't have the respond button. Here's what I wrote. Hi, JC. I notice I can't reply to your comments. Speaks volumes. You seem like a really pleasant person, but you're welcome here, insults and all. I have what's called seasonal allergies. I wish I didn't because, they're fairly annoying. I also have white hair and have gained weight over the years since hanging up my cleats from college football. Feel free to chime in on any of those things too. I found those committed to childish ways or who want to ignore the truth usually do that sort of thing. Of course, you could just disagree with me like an adult, but it seems that's a far reach for you right now. Baby steps, and I'll be here when you grow up. So, listen, I don't care I do care. I want to persuade people towards conservative values, towards Christian truth. But this sort of comment, and it doesn't bother me, but it does impact people willing to step into the debate, willing to step into the discourse. Some people are never going to do it, and that's fine. Other people don't want these things said about them. I've had some nasty things said about me that I wouldn't even say on here. One jumps to mind as I say that. But this makes a lot of people not want to have an interest in politics. It's just got all this negativity. And I understand that for some people, but I also understand that when you sit out of the discourse, when you stay out of the fight or sit on the sidelines or, don't make it known, again, you don't have to make everything about politics, but there comes a time when there needs to be a line drawn in the sand. And I would say culturally, we're at that point. It's when people don't stand up and they're quiet, even though they might go, we talk about in the Republican Party, the silent majority, because most people would just let that comment. Most people wouldn't even have posted anything if they didn't want to engage in politics to begin with. And now they certainly would have responded to that, not snarkily like I did or what. I just want people like this to kind of be, I hope she's embarrassed, not for the sake of long term. I don't want her to stay there, but to say, you know what, that was really childish and immature of me. And then actually disagree with me based on the content of my argument or what I think. You're talking about my eyes being too red and how I sit around. She has no idea what I do all day. She has no idea. Even people who listen to this show, no one knows what happens in the rest of the day. Some people think I work for a couple hours a day when I do the show and go play golf. That's not it in the slightest. And I don't know the things that none of us know, what everyone else does. But I can assure you, I'm not sitting on the internet all day viewing crap what she says is crap. It's just a bizarre way to engage with people. I've also learned that people won't say these things to your to your face. I'm actually more inclined, as a child of the 80s, Gen X, I'm more inclined to say it than I am to write it. Because when you write it, I always read it before I post it, right? And then you're like, I probably should just let it go, right? And then I wrote it, got it off my chest, whatever, and I just don't send it. But when you're face to face, I mean, look, I can't say it and then unsay it. And I don't even mean necessarily from a position of saying things I regret. It's just sometimes, again, I have the choice to not send what I write on social media. But some people are the opposite. They would never say it. I would say most people are the opposite. Never say it to your face, but would write it, hide behind comments that you can't respond to, and basically do the equivalent of throw a Molotov cocktail in the Tesla dealership and go running away, start the bar fight, and leave the room. Now, we don't have to have a fight. It didn't anger me. I'm just saying these are the sorts of people that we're up against that find Cory Booker and the radical left's arguments, his speech, all that stuff to be appealing. This is at the core. I'm not saying every person. I don't want to come across as saying that, but there's a lot of people like JC here in that group. And that's what I wanted to share about that. Gotta take a break, my friends. You're listening here to the home of conservative. JC, if you're listening out there, we can be friends so long as it is up to me. But based upon your messages, I don't know that we're close to that. But that's all right. Appreciate you tuning in and commenting on our Facebook page. Quick time out, my friends. Back here in just a minute.
Gear up, level up. Tired of the same old gun shop experience? Red Team Armory is not just selling firearms. We're providing a VIP experience. Rifles, handguns, shotguns, top-tier optics, unbeatable ammo prices. We've got you covered. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're dedicated to helping you find the perfect setup. Fast shipping and expert advice. Visit us online at todd.redteamarmory.com. Red Team Armory, your mission, our gear.
Tired of store-bought produce? Ever dreamed of growing your own healthy food but worried about space? Exo Hydroponics is a perfect solution. Exo Hydroponics is a family-owned business run by a mother and daughter team. Their innovative Exo Tower lets you grow up to 28 plants indoors or out, using less than 2 square feet. Visit exotowers.com today and start your journey to growing fresh organic food at home. That's exotowers.com.
At FurnitureMadeInUSA.com, we provide beautiful chairs, rockers, stools, and tables handcrafted by skilled American artisans in North Carolina since 1924. With every purchase, you're supporting American businesses, American workers, and their families. Don't just buy furniture, invest in a piece of American history. Shop now at FurnitureMadeInUSA.com.
Welcome back, my friends. Here we are, third and final segment of this, the second hour of the program. Time flies when you're having fun. So I know it's upsetting to know we're at the end of the program, but again, you can always listen to episodes of this show, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, or on our website, or even Rumble now as well, toddhuffshow.com or our Rumble channel. So I want to get to two more things, time permitting here, if I can. I want to get to what I alluded to, I think, at the very end of last segment. Headline here, Elon Musk says Social Security scammer who allegedly ripped off 400,000 Americans faces imminent arrest. I believe someone, Elon says, is going to be arrested tomorrow. That would be today. I want to read this in just a moment, or a portion of this, and also talk really quickly about something else. But before I do that, let me remind you that we are still taking lifetime members to our Inner Circle program. You can be a founding member of the Inner Circle. You'll get access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes updates, video chats with us, all sorts of things like that. It's called the Inner Circle. $99 lifetime membership fee. For as long as you're with us, as long as we're doing the program, you will be a part of that program for just $99. I'm looking for a core group of people to help us build that out, develop it, and do stuff with this. That's what I want to do at the next stage of of what we're doing here. If you're interested in that, learning more, or becoming a member, just text the word JOIN, JOIN, to 317-210-2830. Again, text the word JOIN, JOIN, to 317-210-2830, or you can just go to toddhuffshow.com/join. Again, toddhuffshow.com/join. All right, so let's get to this article. This is the shortest segment, so I got to get right to it. Elon Musk said that an alleged scammer who reportedly ripped off 400,000 Americans, that seems pretty significant to me, by selling their social security numbers is facing imminent arrest. I believe someone is going to be arrested tomorrow because there's someone who actually stole 400,000 social security numbers and personal information from the Social Security database. Musk said this during a tele-town hall meeting with Wisconsin voters Monday evening. The person was, quote, selling social security numbers and all the identification information in order for people to basically steal money from Social Security. So who would be getting these numbers, by the way? I mean, Musk had just said the other day that there were 2 million or so illegal aliens who had gotten Social Security numbers, even in the past, it wasn't that long, past year or two, some such thing. Anyway, so is that where these Social Security numbers are going? Is this something happening within, someone that's a bureaucrat in Washington, D.C.? Is this someone who's hacked the system? What's going on? I don't know, but I do know that this is the sort of thing that Doge is helping to uncover through their investigations and audits and so forth. So that's the first thing I wanted to get to. The second thing I wanted to get to is related to this. This is at the justthenews.com. GOP-led states remove hundreds of thousands from voter rolls, finding non-citizens had registered. Now, I'm going to tell you that the left denies, social media denies. If you go onto social media, some of these platforms, and you talk about people who are non-citizens who have registered to vote. I have cited on this program a survey conducted by a professional. I don't have the survey in front of me, but it was a professional survey company here in the United States. They conducted this survey with people who were non-citizens, and the survey results found, according to that survey, that 15% of respondents who were non-citizens said that they had registered to vote in the United States. 15%. Now, maybe they're lying, maybe they're making it up, but that's what the survey found, my friends. I've said that before. That got flagged on social media because it's undermining the confidence in the election process, blah, blah, blah. I think what undermines the confidence in the election process is our refusal to take a look at these things. Well, it's been refused until now. GOP states, Republican states, have removed hundreds of thousands of people from the voter rolls, and they find that non-citizens had in fact registered. The GOP-led states of Idaho and Missouri took nearly 300,000 registrations off their voter rolls after finding inactive, ineligible, or deceased voters in addition to duplicates and voters who moved. Non-citizens ineligible to vote under those states' laws have also been removed. Now, we're told that this never happened. 2 Republican-led states have removed hundreds of thousands of registrations from their voter rolls this month, while another identified hundreds of non-citizen voters during their voter list maintenance. Collectively, they have 300,000 registrants. We went through that. Iowa also adds its name to the mix. They identified nearly 300 non-citizens on the state's voter rolls and referred them to the Iowa Attorney General. So to pretend like these things do not happen, pretend like these things are simply the invention of people on the political right, is not accurate. The size and scope of this, the way that this is being done, is still up for debate. There's questions about things, but it's absolutely happening. We've seen it time and time again, and it needs to be remedied. And if you don't think it needs to be remedied, my friend, which I know you do in this audience, but if you don't, you're by definition part of the problem. I've got to go. SDG.
Gear up, level up. Tired of the same old gun shop experience? Red Team Armory is not just selling firearms. We're providing a VIP experience. Rifles, handguns, shotguns, top-tier optics, unbeatable ammo prices. We've got you covered. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're dedicated to helping you find the perfect setup. Fast shipping and expert advice. Visit us online at todd.redteamarmory.com. Red Team Armory, your mission, our gear.
Tired of store-bought produce? Ever dreamed of growing your own healthy food but worried about space? Exo Hydroponics is a perfect solution. Exo Hydroponics is a family-owned business run by a mother and daughter team. Their innovative Exo Tower lets you grow up to 28 plants indoors or out, using less than 2 square feet. Visit exotowers.com today and start your journey to growing fresh organic food at home. That's exotowers.com.